in time of which you don't spend, you understand, and all like that. So people can say, okay, what is it age-wise? Okay, what does it mean? Is it elderly people, or young people? But basically, generally, people normally think that it's old people when they said aged and all.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Kind of makes sense. Definitely, definitely. But because when you say age, the first thing we kind of mind now how long the age does last for. So yeah, and you can watch us live on Facebook at Epic Radio, definitely. And if you watch me live on Facebook and you want to move around, you can just grab your radio and tune into 99.3 FM. And for sure, Adika introduced me guest in the studio. Of course, the team, the panel team, and also we got a wonderful, personality tonight with we basically they can help we discuss, about this intriguing topic, and also, it gets an event where they come up where we also get to talk about. But firstly, the man on my left hand side, he can introduce himself.
Hello, my name is 𝐿 at the FBC Social Work Year 3.
Hi guys, my name is Princess Cabo. I'm student here too.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be here. This is the optimistic one. Booyah, Nabi Bangwa. I'm a pharmacist now, so not a student anymore. Thank you.
Okay, definitely. And basically you get to understand the impacts where you get, in students and life, and also, the role where you don't play in commerce for quite a while now. So much that no one left you.
Exactly.
Yes. Tonight we basically they talk about is age a limit a factor in enrolling in a college? Because to be honest, things are changing, right? Things are changing so much that waiting be usual. I mean, waiting they happen now and something we've been quite unusual in the past, considering that people are way old 15 years old in a campus now.
Right. And it's so that obvious that we see a lot, not even just few people now. We get a lot of students that where they of that age and all like that. But I feel like say we get people in there, so we want to get their own side of the view, of which we will actually digress more. Yeah. So I don't know, who do you think we need to start with?
Well, we go start with Omar. And basically, Omar they can give you what's in he personally feel like what's in he understand about the topic, because age is a thing and that's something inevitable.
I mean, in all matters, I believe age play a number, because by how you don't mentally developed and all. But me, I don't think it's supposed to be a limiting factor for going to university, because the role of high school for me it prepare you, secondary school for me it prepare you for go college. Okay. If I don't see fit for see qualified for go college, then why then for stop you because of age? I mean, me left high school at 16. Okay. So I'm not gonna know how I go feel after I don't tower all the years and day. I say, okay, now I'm ready for college and done with book business early. Person can begin tell me, say, hey, you're too small for go college. After I don't put in all the work, all the effort for reaching that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's a victim of it, so he's actually being protective of that side.
I nearly become victim of that.
Okay. So 16 going to 17?
Yeah,
you were.
16 to 17.
It's a good thing you were lucky enough.
Right.
Princess, do you personally think people need age to mature?
Well, I want to argue with Omar a little bit because back then I wasn't lucky as how Omar is. Because there was a certain thing in uni, if you know reach certain age, they go start for attend classes. So imagine, I think I finished 17. Yeah, it was 17. So me first was what I apply with. They was like, nah, you too young, and it was private was. They was like, nah, you too young. You need to go take government was and wait 1 year. Yeah, wait 1 year. So it was like, then I got comfortable. Imagine, I got comfortable. I not sit there 1 year day. I was like, university is still for big before go. So I was like, okay, now I'll go the next. That was 2 years sitting. So for me, I feel like age matters. But now it's different. Someone argue me like, now you 15 years ago university, 16 years ago university. But me personally, I would think some age matter because what I was taught is that you need to go up. You need to get a particular mentality to prepare yourself for university because there was like you're too young, certain ages like you're not allowed to attend university because of that particular age. But yeah.
Okay, okay. See, another experienced person.
Yeah.
So now also experience quite the opposite phenomena in life.
Exactly.
Me, the only thing wey help me, and because I be don hit 6 feet, na the only thing, because I be tall and look older than me no more. I mean, I not go me university of choice, cause of Rande. Now, Unimac Abango initially,
Okay.
but then say you're too young for go live alone and go that far away from your house. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing that me basically Dande be only happened to me high school wherein they say I not for attend certain school because it be dey too far from us and at young. But college, I be done zero to the point that you not even they facing me for 10 minutes talk then I was done with waiting. Yes, Mr. Navi. So basically, we come as now not to any other kind of university so no more. They say man and get under the highest level of stress. But not so also they can debate Sunday because the other university then get their own back. So how you see the age factor they affects people and young people and basically?
Well, I mean, they come up from different angles. Okay. For example, when you want to be admitted in higher institutions, you get to look at things differently. For example, on the policy angle, tertiary institutions, they are regulated based on established policies.
Okay.
The Tertiary Education Commission, Ministry of Higher and Technical Education, and so on.
Okay.
So having them people there, they understand, say, they get certain cutoff point. For example, somebody who is supposed for the university supposed for don't get at least 18. So one of those limiting factors, because when you say is age a limiting factor, yes, because some of these policies might speak towards, before you admitted at higher institution, you must have gotten 18 years.
Okay.
So that could be a limitation altogether.
Yeah.
But in principles, in institutions like a College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences and any other medical school, or precisely some people can also consider law, where they take some considerable number of years. Of course, now another limiting factor to some people. For example, someone go say, if I don't 30 years, then they go start another medical course where they go take 6-7 years or something. When you go done, from the time where you done, when you go start your manship, for example, if you're a doctor, or when you go all to those stages
You'll be
for
so
complete.
close to retirement.
The same for some people. But then the important part of it is that to me, it only depends on the person. For example, are they with somebody in a class? Since we have been done, me pre-classes them. This person was a nurse anesthetist.
Okay.
We do nursing first, and we do anesthesia later on. And then he decide for do a diploma course, 3 years, before he decide now for can join can start that 6 years program.
Oh, wow.
So this person, an established person, don't marry the pikin and don't pass 20-25 years, and he decide for come back. So it could be a limiting factor to a certain set of people, but then based on a certain set of people, that they will tell you point blank, say, come on, we get professors then when are young professors. Likewise, we get professors when are aged. So age could be a limiting factor for restrain certain people, for restrict certain people, and for completely prevent certain people. So slowing down the admission, totally stopping people, those are all limiting factors. Because at that point, I want, first of all, we lay that background. Okay. That yes, age is a limiting factor based on policies, based on perception, based on certain principles, and based on programs where some people can choose for go. Okay. This is very important because when you get other institutions, then for instance, where they will tell you, say, before you go be admitted in a year, because the good things where normally we can fail. Now that, for example, I can choose for go study medicine. Because of certain principles, maybe grades wise, or maybe other policies where they didn't at the college, then choose for send me somewhere else because of my age. It happen because some people will tell you, say, how like me brother they talk about how you go left Natonia and go all the way to McKinney. So people will also look at him. How old could you be that you go there in a hostel, just you alone? If even you know what for do bad thing, you go get colleagues that way might influence you negatively. All of these are factors that are all true, but they vary from one person to the other.
Makes 100% sense. And, considering that there are regulations and also institutions, the way they put, things in writing, as in they make memorandums and some other positions, for regulate age, somebody go out and look at why they actually did that. What are the reasons?
Well, to me, it just depends on the responsibility. By the time somebody don't complete high school, that person dey for don mature, for
Okay.
make sure say you dey go embark on a course, on a journey for you your very self,
Okay.
for the society where you come up from, and the nation at large. Person for don't know the kind distinctions and they that if I'm here and I'm supposed to go attend classes, these are class schedules. The lecturer get a lot of things them for do. And at the end of the day, what you need for do now as a student, you get for attend classes, you get for submit assignments, you get for make sure say if na assessments, you complete them. If na exams, for example, na College of Medicine. College of Medicine largely we dey get with exams on a seasonal level, just once per year. So if you go there, they don't pay for you millions. You pay and they don't sacrifice a lot of things. And then you self they forget say out of that responsibility where they don't give you, to you now you right. But then at the responsibility of you now as a student for make sure say you be quite so studious at all times. So yes, age could be considered that within that 18 years, based on international best practices, for example, the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, where you don't 18, you're supposed to be an adult. And so when you're an adult, you're supposed to know and able to take responsibility of your actions.
Okay.
So that could be considered from that level. But then on larger level, I want to believe say age not for be a limiting factor at all.
Okay,
At
so,
all.
so somebody basically go in our house and say that you dey try for say, not so you dey try for say self, in general sense it has to be more of a subjective thing.
Exactly.
You know, because some people then get enormous numbers when it comes to age, right?
Exactly.
But then in terms of their mental capabilities, it's quite low, and some other people are quite young with higher mental power. Do you
Exactly.
understand? Like with higher maturity and stuff. But whose institution go they in the position wherein that they interview you and try for gets for know how capable you are for handle certain level of stress or certain level of pressure? Because that's like the main thing. If they try for limits and put 18 as the age, I go college at the age of 17. This man at the age of 16. But there are no limits, you know, in terms of performance or in terms of achieving certain things where older people that they achieve.
But to me, I even say and say it will be an advantage because usually when you're in the adolescent stages then they or early adulthood, most times the priorities they're knocking down too much.
Exactly.
So that could also be
Very
even an
focused and
advantage.
channeled.
By the time they you hands are not going to be tied up in a lot of things. And the good thing also we a very fine like when they say catch them when they are young within the intended day. At times we also can forget say we actions we take within the intended can make we or
Okay,
then can
break
break we.
Definitely.
That is also something we could decide on. But at that time, for the fact that you know don't get picking yet where you go responsible for, you know, don't get divided attention yet, maybe you answer not go down fully. That could be a point for leverage on and choose whatever long program you want to choose or whatever short program as
With enough
tedious.
time for
exactly.
Princess, you basically get experience, you know, with wearing them allow you for take some sitting years, right? And how then they affect you? Is it like in a positive way or what's gonna be your personal experience doing that and
Well, during the 10 day, I was pissed off at first though. Where we go when they tell me say nah, due to age limits, 𝐿𝐹𝐿𝐼𝐍𝐆 take a 1 year break. That was like I go meet mom was like, Mama, what do they mean by that? Like, you know, we don't bet. Imagine you don't let you compete in our school because it was early sitting. I was still in SS level. Then it was like, well, you know, salon, blah blah blah. But then that's one weakened me. It actually weakened me. I'm not gonna say a negative part, but me zeal for go uni when they said I can take 1 year break, weakened me zeal for even say next year I go university. I then stop for even attend school, and I sit on a house. Imagine idleness. Okay. That time I was even I not even study. I'm just the flex.
So basically you wasted time.
Yeah, I wasted time, and it was not productive at all.
Like you go only have you don't go.
Exactly. Okay, when I started going to university, everyone was like, "What's in this all for?" Like, if I don't go far for university, now I was like, not so salon. I just generalize the thing now. We have it to me like, not so all university day. Not so yeah, that's.
Okay.
But then it kind of turned out is that lately, like coming years now, university allow young people them where like no reach the ages as maybe think back then they start for staff or go uni.
Because
Because like me go university recently, I got a friend where she was like 15 going 16 and then put on this evening shift. So we both really try for shifts come morning. Then one of the administration was like, 𝐿𝐹𝐿𝐼𝐍𝐵 University. That was the comment.
Okay.
And she was like, she was it's not a kid, but she was like, too young.
Well, she was a kid.
She was a kid. No, well, let's say Pikine go university. She's a teenager, so it was like. But then, in William's point of view, if they try for like say, please let him man listen. It was so aggressive, like now with Sue. He started for crying, and I was like.
Okay, now the prickliness of the administration, and they don't put some corner. Because they can just get unnecessary one kind where they ask for people,
Okay.
Like some sort of the parents salary them, but anyway, I won't forget about that.
Right.
That age, in my own opinion, baby, like you're not supposed to matter, for admitting a uni or for doing a uni, right? Because hence suppose you don't sit in was that don't prove say you're capable for take care of yourself. And in the long run, if you see say you're not able, you can simply withdraw from the cause. But that not mean for say if you can't stop person potential just because you say, oh, na picking.
The thing is, with this WAS thing, the credibility is getting low. So most of the lecturers in administration per se, now they think say, since you don't sit to WAS yet, but you're too young for start the main thing when they're joining for university. It's like you bring me for mature, forget waiting they face in the future. Well, I'm just saying based on waiting me think. You might say differ.
When they talk about the age, I still they emphasize on the fact that the age not supposed to be a determinant for say now for measure your level of competence. For example, me and a Muslim, when they teach you the Quran, if you observe, usually now, the one the way they do all 114 surahs, they're not even 10 years yet.
Yeah.
They're barely not 10 years yet. So what does that mean? By this time we don't do so. I don't say we all not going for cram the 114 anymore, but by now we don't get other priorities. But that young person, he go barely get that 114 surahs. You call any part of the Quran, they read them for you.
Because the brain is fresh.
What does that mean? Exactly.
Right.
Encourage younger people more. Because they're way easier for groom. Person the older he gets, now so they learn new bad habits.
Okay.
But at that time, you not go longer certain habits. It's easier for groomer, like actually better at what they do. If you get me, like when they get older, they don't begin get a new notion there. They get a different way. They don't go begin to think.
Perceptions.
But as a kid under 18, man.
But then once we need for look at now that at a global level, imagine the time that way you be young, where you uncle to go school. People are maybe the SS4 or SS3 have been grown people there. Right? And now we observe the downscaling in that. That is if I say this basically and not only they pass off not so the curriculum they affect or not so the curriculum they give this cause so, but actually based on genetics and based on how people let it go recently. If you think about some people at the age of 14 get basically the maturity of people and back in 2007 will be there at the age of 18.
Right.
Yeah, and with Dande, but with schooling system now they develop based on them principle and they need to change based on them principle and they're not they be incremental in their administration. Instead, what's they happen that they work with the same older principle. Where be so say the people and the institutions they for serve actually they evolve just how humans and cost with evolution. It's unchanging. So if there are like principle, there are probably the university acts where they stipulate for say 18 years, 9 they make you eligible for kind of uni. I feel like dancing and they all need amendments and resolutions and basically right now, because the Uda go guess Uda are the youngest age of students now FBC.
Youngest age now.
Yeah. Like this particular year where they enroll the youngest age.
14.
You're close. You're close.
13. Because I know for 13. And a while back, 16 years, that person graduates from FBC. Yeah, a girl I think 16 years I left FBC. That was a degree.
Well, that's quite. I know very but you see, that's also something. And one thing back what we need to understand that the regulations not there based on learning, because even science proves that the younger you are, the more capable you bring they for consume data. Right. Because you get less things for focus on your attention span. Basically, you're like a genius at that age. The younger you are, because you get less consciousness on different aspects there. very, very limited. And so the whole thing about limiting the age, not so because of the learning process, but now because of the handling of some other factors. Let's say, for instance, now stress, or because stress now one of the biggest one.
Right. Yeah.
What's go make certain person cry? Somebody at the age of 15, not go make somebody at the age of 18 cry.
Right.
You understand? And also, the type of things that they are being taught. And also the atmosphere in general, the community. Because if you think about Sana uni, I think you go see somebody who probably get 40 something years in a class, and then you make an example with a very matured language, and then picking the day. Understand? Somebody with the age of 14 day. And then you can see certain explanation where lecturer they explain, say, if you're not picking, college not so for picking. Those are the issues, not so because of the learning ability. So
in other words, it's about your mental capability and everything like that, So it's from this other point of view again, of which Sierra Leone, we just have this stereotype of which you even big people, as if there are some certain discussions that we get within they get that they take as you're not competent enough for the part of discussions like that. And then they limit you. Maybe you even have ideas to give, that will even help to salvage that particular situation. But because of your age limit, they'll be like, no, I push this not to picking talk.
Not so picking talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Dan and I believe for say make backwards as a society, because younger people can get good idea. If we find a good idea, if I for entertain person idea, if I for entertain like a Pekin or a younger person idea, because in the same from different perspective, and you go shut and down, just they're like
and basically dancing and they get a lot of psychological impacts on young people and how they develop and the type of personality where they end up for.
And it even limits their mindset again, because most of the time maybe you're not even necessary, maybe you're not even important to these people.
Now when I something at university, where lecturer the bumble, you just fly through in subject matter, and also they ask a question, say, hey, stop, or do this, because they feel like the opinion no matter.
Exactly.
So one time inside class, me and lecturer will get, I don't go say arguments, we'll get intense session.
Okay.
Session.
I'll be the far question, the left and right.
Okay.
And there's
like it's not necessary for me to afraid. At the end of the day, I'm paying my fees, and my opinion supposed for matter.
Definitely. You see, that's a topic where I feel like we need to discuss one of them days. So when the level of confidence, what's not the limits towards the communication between a lecturer and a student? Because if you think about somebody can get a very brilliant question or contribution to the class, but because of the way other lecturer they make, it literally the same goal for over something like 40 minutes, and they end up not for even ask the thing again.
Some lecturer then can rude, I could say, we ask and something, or shut you down like.
As if you no matter. Yeah,
right. And everybody got right to their opinions and stuff like that.
In university, I believe when I difference from high school, all my opinions supposed for matter.
Right.
When I interact, when I left high school business, and different supposed for day or her.
So if we're in the capacity for resolve like this issue, because we don't know for saying it matter, right? People don't know for be limited based on their age, but based on their mental abilities, right? Yeah. Based on how far they can able, process stuff. So what's go be like a common ground? Because one, it kind of necessary. You know, go take picking and go na a place where they need the food feed. What's it called?
Feed spoon.
Feed spoon you, wherein you have to like do stuff yourself. What's in some of the things that we can do now? And then people we have very limited time on earth, but people they look at that way, right? You have very limited time. Now you want for study for 27 years or 30 years, and then you start for work for how long? Who knows how long you're going to be alive for, right? They get any personal goal where you acquire. Instead, you just go through a curriculum, a learning system. We need to consider that. So what's not the middle ground? What's not the resolution?
You see, to me, I just believe, we need to sanitize the education system. Maybe holistically foresee that what we need for set up now standards. Okay. If we say we win just WASC we get, other countries get other examinations the way they set up. Where you pass, you make sure you do the necessary things, the people then get the right teachings, then get the right supervisions, and when the exam time come, give them the chance for them to express themselves in the exams. Who that pass, forgo before and get in university education we're supposed to forget. So I think to me, it's just about getting the right structures being set up. When you set the right structures, and then you admit these people and give them the readiness that, come on, you're not young here. This is very important, because if we don't already give that, we install that mindset of, oh, I'm still young, after all, I get more time for stay. Now I make you can see, person go in a WASC. Imagine, WASC we're supposed to be a rate determining step for let you go in a higher institution. Somebody go tell you, say, I just they can't sit first. Like just get 1, 2 subjects no more in my next sitting. So even before you go to the exam, you don't presume, say, now just 2 subjects I won't forget. In my next, exactly, in my subsequent sittings, because I'm young first, I will still get. To be honest enough, we've had other instances where colleagues that because they think, say they're young, then go don't pass. Oh, me, I take 1 year first, la rest. We've had all of those instances. Definitely. So to me, you just need to make the environment sterile. Education system for be sterile, for make sure, say, if, you don't put your structures, this now your grade point we they accept. Yeah. And when you take this grade point, you meet the criteria, and then we set up interviews, we assess you, and that is why when you go College of Medicine, you not just they do written exams. You do your essays, you do your objectives, you do your practicals, you do your viva, your oral exams. So if you been say A was A, confirm in the presence of the examiners then why A was A. So set up those structures cleanly and genuinely without no favor or something or no intimidation. Then if you pass, you pass. Forget about your age. This is very important, because the other aspect why make a mention about not just sanitize the system. Now the fact that I cannot be in a university way full of intimidations. If you choose to associate yourself to any social gathering, to any group or whatsoever, that's not your choice. You get that responsibility on you. But if the environment is not sterile, they don't set up the education system in such a way that even the international treaties, the way they don't set. For example, the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, the UNCRC. UNCRC say every child gets a right to quality education. Okay. When you come to the Sierra Leone context, we can't domesticate them to the Child Rights Act of 2007, where then they try for review now and try for amend. The Child Rights Act of 2007 give you freedom of association, they give you freedom of quality, the right to quality education, among other things. Okay. So why can you say because this person already don't get this right to quality education, then when you don't sit down, you say, no, you're not for enter. What are you talking about?
Like
so in other words, we still get conflicting policies. Let me start earlier on say, policies could also be reviewed, so that, to be honest, just set the level playing ground. When you pass, you pass. This is very important. Now, if you go to College of Medicine, all the one they admit this year, over hundreds of them, these are pretty young people, very, very young. It is their advantage, like I said earlier, because the priorities by now would have not been in that point. If you get you picking, I'm not saying the one that we don't get picking or not able to focus, no. But their attention largely could be limited in a lot of things. So except the person get for go extra mile. Okay. And that is why it just depends on the person as well. So set the environment very safe. And if these young people come at the universities, the issues of the administration is also very important. Definitely. Oh, come on. Let me get the institution there as mentorship grounds and not to intimidating grounds. Say, oh, we know they take Pekin or the university. Okay. All of those words there.
So in other words, you're trying to say that
let me just sanitize the system. That's right. All. Forget about the age of the person. Sanitize the system, put your requirements. When you get the requirements, that means you don't get. So grade points now for be the focus. If they say somebody for go honors class, put your grade point. When you meet that grade point, whether you small or not, you're supposed to go now honors class, or you stay in that general.
Basically, eligibility based on merits.
Based on merit, it has to be meritorious. Forget about all of those other things. Okay. Now that to me, now that I believe in.
Okay, definitely. And when you read this, you mentioned something about putting other measures in place. Like for instance, you say mentorship, right?
Exactly.
So now this take me back to Princess, right? Now we universities them there is like the system with them build now for people above the age of 20. We know that. And because of the mess of us, they change nothing. Now their system then they will still move with. In a sense, if we put measures in place wherein there's like a counseling program where basically they talk to students that were younger. Because, to be honest, not so commerce no more, or any FBC, every single university this particular year been gets a saturated amount of younger people.
Exactly.
It's an issue. What see we can do for resolver, what see we can do for solver, now that we put measures in place we go deal with young people. Just like how na high school you get, measures that way that they put in place, like where they regulate speaking them. Because now it's a good thing for us, for the generation in general, because a country where gets a younger workforce get more tendencies for develop, right? And we, as Epic Nation, yeah, so we did see as how for creates the best version of a student. We go prepare enough, well enough for the corporate world. Because just imagine if you been get somebody we be there in the right capacity for talk to you and advise you parents them, and also create a defensive situation wherein you can able to get a one-on-one conversation with the institution of public administration, and then you convince them for say yes, I'm capable of taking on this course and I can actually do it. What if it also further happens so you been get a young high school energy for take on college?
I think I couldn't go far. the mentality is that I think I couldn't go like far with me education, where instead of Saturday right now, because the time where maybe freshly come out of high school,
Yeah.
the
energy,
excitement, the zeal for like study was there. So the moments when they turn me down, it's like the spirit in me, like just it not die instantly, but the time when I spent without focusing or like preparing myself for I get for like go class stuff like that, it just die. So if possible within a university, that attending there, we go like look come up to me and say, look, it's not like you need for go, or then give me like this certain side of certain classes where like I go attend. We go keep up my energy and spirit for say I go university. Like excited I was leaving high school back then tell me no. It just make me not even want to continue school again. Imagine I just drop. I don't want to drop out. I just drop out from juniors from SS level, and I said now wait. Like how this guy was saying was it let wait first? It was similar to that. It was like let wait first, or let just prepare my mindset. But then when I go down to university, that was like I don't reach the age now, and I'd start first attend class. It was like that.
Your mind become complacent.
Like,
that habit you don't get from high school for where they attend class every day. That habit's supposed to go on broke.
Yeah, because you don't spend so much time now us. And as we did very close to the end of the show, Brother Nabi gets a very, very important events where they come up. Quite it is very close. I remember a few months ago I be think and say, I think they did far for us. And we go like for share with students and basically we did listen to it.
Yes, so are they in a capacity of somebody who don't do the university system for some time, but then I want to officially invite we already in the studios now, yeah, and all other people them out there. I come on behalf of the College of Medicine Muslim Jamaat, we call COMUJ. Now me currently they head the public relations and the media team for make sure we organize an annual fundraising dinner and awards night. The rationale for that day is very clear. We are solutions driven Jamaat, as not that Islam they preach. Why we been decide for Duam? There was what we call Baitul Mal, house of money, like a charity platform where we try to establish. The focus was for let me get them resources that are generated as students within whether you're a Muslim or not. But the fact that you're a student at College of Medicine and you cannot afford for pay your school fees, for example, the Jamaat will come in and help out. And even within the institution where they take classes largely, for example, Connaught, when you go there, you go see, say, with all due respect, work they go on from the government and the partners them, but you see people here that we don't able barely take care of their bills, their medical bills. Let's say, for example, on consumables or medicines on emergency basis, these people not going to afford. And if they cannot afford largely, they're not going to get the treatment we they require. And if you not get the treatment we require, the therapeutic outcome not go there. And you not go get your recovery as you supposed to get. Most people, they get complications. Most people, they eventually die, among other things. This now all things that we decide for set up that dinner. And this now the third edition. Then money they will be together, like I said. We don't try for normally pay bills for people that we don't able to pay. We do randomly. We cannot select whether you, they are now for the medical bills, whether you small or not. Hence, we notice say you're able to take care of your bills, then you will be able to pay for that day. And so this is very important. And that make we believe say at College of Medicine Muslim Jama, it doesn't just has to start with you. All students, we always say, government for do for with this, government for do for with that. Let me start for take responsibilities by ourselves, like any other student. And that is one of those practical steps that we don't do. Then money, then they, like I said, come March 10th, we in at the Freetown City Hall, we get forget them. Okay. By the time Byline in power, we will go down gather them resources them, we go gather them funds then, and we do an evaluation. For now, the unique thing we set up, now the fact that not to just even students and demand the affairs of the Baitul Mal. We get alumni there where they don't even graduate, pharmacists, doctors, nurses, medical laboratory practitioners, where they need part of that charity funding. Then some can normally donate them finances, then can normally donate their salaries every month. Even students then they donate. Just like we have the Sick Picking project. These are some people who want for laying last. When we get that one day, sadly last year, for example, when we brought we began for lost some because they eventually can't go to Ghana because of funds. By the time you can't get the aid now, it was late already. Yeah. So I think say these are things that we need for embrace. So on behalf of the College of Medicine Muslim Jama, like I said, I'm not a student anymore, but imagine the passion where I get for let we all serve with communities, with country and the world at large. I still decide, and the Jamaat currently, the executive, yes, I served for 2 terms as the Secretary General, but I still see the need for bringing me in as the head of media. And I want to thank Epic Radio, you personally, brother, for the fact that you're able to bring me in. These are discussions where we also go on for explore. If you think every week you need people from Commute, for even Kayas when they deliberate on topics, we get the amazing teams then for they do that. Okay. I want to make that they openly clear. Okay. And I also want to extend the invitation to everybody out there. We get amazing Islamic scholars, the likes of the Sheikh Farouk Umar Adamba, get for Didi. We get the likes of brother Sheikh Hilal Amin Toure, get for Didi. We also get anashid them Islamic entertainers, like for the likes of the Abdul Waris, the likes of the Busy Man, the likes of the MBJ Kaba, the likes of poetry as well. Poetry, we get forget critical thinker, we get forget a host of other colleagues. We go there. So it's just kind of like an edutainment, family festival kind of, where you they come, we all go dine. Now we center the theme this year, say, spend a time to save a life. Okay. Spend that time, whether 250, 80, or 500 or donation where you can do. If you want, you can do it openly. If you don't want to do it openly, we can do it. Because waiting, you know, the most important thing, and for seek the pleasure of God Almighty. Charity, get for start from you. You need forgive whatever little. It could be your time. It could be just a word, like maybe sister they say. At times, that word where you go just say, please don't go there. You would have saved a lot of things. That person they go don't save in life. A lot of other things going to happen. So please, I want to extend this invitation to we all. I don't know if I can announce my number, so that people go reach out. If you go online, you go check for College of Medicine Muslim Jamaat. You're able to get we. You're able to get we on www.commute.org. We get the website. Everything is established. This is a well-structured institution. Or you can call me on +232 77244 That's my personal number. And as the head of the media and publications, public relations as well, we go able to take you through the necessary project. This is for everybody, not just for commerce students, not just for students in generally, but even you with it as a parent or as a philanthropist out there. Come this coming Friday, when on March 10, now the new City Hall, we can forget a red carpet session, we can forget all of those other glamorous things, any other event, but just that we try to make them Islamized. Okay. Everything has to be Islamic. Yeah, because one for seek the pleasure of Allah. So I'm so pleased to be here and reach out the team. I also want to make this clear. Anytime you think we could discuss on other social trending topics within the student and welfare, among other things, I'm here. On health communication, I'm also here.
That's good. That's good.
So thank you so much.
That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You see, one of the difficulties we face on a regular now for get students and from commerce, because there's like the distance, where the institution they and how hectic it can be.
But we get students that can cannot. We get students that can 34 hospital now.
But you see, that's the thing where the communication, it can be quite difficult. So as we close the show for tonight, one thing we a request I want to make personally to you, and we already know so now for try as hard as possible how we will establish a committee or a sub institution way for handle young people and matters in our university.
Okay.
Because it's a big deal and it's an issue. Right now, our minors there.
Exactly.
You understand? You go see a small picky way, basically, not even know say admin building there or how for talk. They're the fear. Okay. And the bully it there. You not key intender, but it happen. What do you feel to say not so intimidation for somebody at a certain age? You can actually be wrong.
Exactly. So just quickly on that, me don't serve in all internal institutions in our college before I can graduate, so eventually. Okay. I came from the Albert Academy, the best school in the whole world. I served there as
subjectively?
Not really. You can choose for argue, but the best school arguably in the whole world. And I served there as a secretary general, as a president eventually. On College of Medicine, I served there as Secretary General for 2 terms, the College of Medicine Muslim Jama. Okay. On my association, I served there as PRO for NAPS, and on the entire student union, just last year, I was the Minister of Information. Wow. All of them platform there, usually they can be recognizing me as best at the executive or this performing. What did that mean that I took up the responsibility for providing me time? Imagine you in a College of Medicine, my sister will tell me earlier on how we don't be considered as introverts when you do commerce. That should not be the case. Okay. Because if you cannot be a good communicator, how can you talk to your patient?
Yeah, definitely.
For let you communicate can also be a part of the recovery process.
So I make Abi once basically, and also Princess Omar, and we already in Sasso tonight. Let we take them upon we set for make sure so we protect younger people who is in a university. Sure. And let we try for put hands together. Later on, I will communicate the process and how far we don't go for legalize this sub-institution and also a committee for looking. So that's Princess. So as we close the show, what's going to be you last word to we listeners for tonight?
My last word will be like to the administration precisely, because that was the people. Now then, tell me the word will still stick us. Like stuck in my mind. I hope like the mentality they go change towards the younger generation coming up, and like how they don't begin doing so, whether they like allows younger people for attend classes now, because back then it was like nah, go break. I just hope so they will continue. Once the person is mature enough and brilliant enough for pursue in cause where they pursue, let them get the opportunity, let them get the chance for that. And towards the students, so I hope like everything will be alright with them. No, one no means like me. One no means it's the end of the road. But like let them keep on doing their thing and keep on pursuing their goals. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Omar.
Yeah. No, most normally tell anybody out there, no make because of your age anything limits you. Only simple person may limit you because of your age. Tell you a small picking. If you believe for say get the potential, pursue.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Daniel, thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And I hope for this you more often.
Of course, definitely.
That's what's up. So as we close the show tonight, what's going to be your last words to listeners, and also in relation to this topic will be the
Well, relating to the topic, I want to tell every single young person out there that search inside of you and know first that you're competent enough to handle anything at any given time. Especially when you're in a university, ensure that you keep up to the standards of which the university is expecting, because I feel like in a dandy again we don't be serve as a limitation for we, because they take us when they will match up to the standards. So I feel like every young person need for match up to standard, and not say you're there to study, you're there to learn. So whatever mature people can do, know that you're there to match up to the standard. Push. It will not be easy. It will never be easy.
Definitely.
you push for it and you will get it at the end.
Definitely. So, of course, it has been a wonderful show as we don't talk about, basically the issue of age limits and how it limits student age and how it limits students. But also, as the main thing where we dey talk about every single Saturday now about students. One thing we'll not forget now that the students them, we don't come together now different universities there and they don't elect certain group of people there. And then people also get responsibilities there. And the best thing they can ever do for we now for do the responsibilities that we don't assign them for, and basically in line with the manifesto. And also say most universities they not been think about that, or most SUGs or SRCs not been think about that in the aspects of age business, but we plead to them, you understand, for look at contemporary matters, not so far-fetched issues we get for do with transportation, no for say almost not get for be solved because that's a national thing. But then seeing the way we need them, their hands together and try for solve them and give you more ears, and of course make sure say people like Princess and so many other people that they listen to we, actually utilize their time and always time because they are capable. Some people are more than capable. Till next Saturday, I've been your wonderful host along with
Daniel Fatama.
Of course, and stay glued to Epic Radio. Bye bye.